Hi there, my name's Malcolm McGregor. I work for Broadreach Retail. We're a leadership consultancy. My passion in life has been for the last 25 years is all things people and all things leadership. I'm just fascinated by what makes people tick and how we can get the most out of the most valuable resource in our organisations. We've been thinking about resilience just recently, no surprise there. It's been COVID-19. What do we have to do to be resilient? And why is it important? So let's start with the definition of resilience. Some people would say it's the ability to get up if you get knocked over. The Japanese proverb, get knocked over 7 times, you get up 8. A really good example of resilience. I like to turn to Angela Duckworth's wonderful book on grit, in which she looked at Navy SEAL training, and she asked the question, what is it that's a good predictor for success? And she came up with this word grit. She said it's the ability to remain focused and persevere on long-term goals. She argues from her research that if you've got grit, it's a great predictor for success in the long term. So why else is it important? Daniel Pink's book, Drive, again arguing about the importance of resilience in order to become a master of what you do. A master of what you do is exactly what Malcolm Gladwell argued in his Outlier book, in which he argued you need 10,000 hours of focus and practice in order to achieve mastery. So we can see all the time the importance of resilience. But everybody asks, how do you develop resilience? How do you develop grit? And most people point to the wonderful work of Professor Carol Dweck at Stanford University. And she, through her research, came up with the necessity to have a growth mindset. A growth mindset, a willingness to try out new things, to feel uncomfortable in situations you've never been before, to be willing to face obstacles you've never overcome before, to be willing to fail occasionally in order to learn and grow. The growth mindset, critical element. And she argues with a growth mindset from her research, there is no stopping you. Unlimited potential can be fulfilled. Wow. So why don't organizations get after that? They've known about it for a long time, but they haven't really done much about it. Not all organizations. Is it a trust issue? Is it that we don't want people to go off and do their own thing? Is it that we can't give people space? Do we put too much pressure on them? Always talking about the task and never giving people time to step back and think? Maybe. And then along comes COVID-19. I know it's been horrendous for the world, and my heart goes out to people who've been affected and lost loved ones. However, there has been an opportunity to change, to think about culture, to think about how we do what we do. For example, most of our employees are working from home. What an opportunity for them to find their own autonomy, for them to change and to adapt to a home environment, to grow, to think, to learn, to change. Wow. And what about COVID-19 in terms of presenting an environment which is chaotic, never been here before, don't know how to solve these types of problems, could just about do it when the environment was predictable, but it's not predictable, it's highly volatile, it's very, very complex. Its ambiguity is everywhere. Dave Snowden and his team talk about the types of problem that he talks about, complex problems and chaotic problems, and argues that in this environment we have to be willing to experiment and fail in order to learn. Back to the growth mindset again. So we can see how important growth mindset is. It feels like it's right at the nucleus of what we're trying to do. Opportunity for all organizations to think about how you return to your new normal. Choice, obviously. Leadership is always a choice. Do you do anything different? Or do you just go back to the way it was? That's your right. Or perhaps you stay exactly as you are now and continue to work from home, continue the virtual meetings and so on and so forth. Or perhaps you find something in the middle. How will you decide? How will you promote a growth mindset? How will you gain greater resilience from the COVID-19? If you want to talk about this in any more detail, we'd love to hear from you. My name is Malcolm McGregor. You'll find me at www.broadreachltd.co.uk, or feel free to email me, malcolm@broadreachltd.co.uk. Thank you very much for your time.